¡Ay! Estamos en México! Tierra del Sol! No, actually, no, we're still in the United States. We're in San Isidro, right at the Tijuana, San Isidro, San Diego border crossing. And when you visit the border crossings, you will see money exchange houses, the Casas de Cambio. And why are we showing you this? Well, because, dear students, this is exactly what's going on in the stock market, in the securities exchanges. There's not just one price, even though you look it up on the internet, you see one price. There are dozens of prices at any one time. And there are actually two prices that we have to worry about: the bid and the ask. Now, if it were up to me, I would use the terms wholesale and retail, but I wasn't the one who designed the system. See, we're going to exchange our dollars for pesos. And if we do that, when we buy pesos, compra, that means we're going to get 20.224. And here you see the point there. In some places, it's just understood. We'll give them $1, and they will give us 20 pesos, 20.224 pesos. Okay, but what happens when we want to exactly? We have to pay them 20.321 pesos to get our dollars back. And the difference is called the spread. And this is how, notice they say, we're not charging you commission, no commission. These are market makers. They are dealers. And this is exactly what's going on when you buy and sell using commission-free brokerage firms. You didn't really believe that Robinhood was not charging you, right? Yes, what's happening is they are, as we talk about in the presentation, sending the trades to particular market makers, data centers, dealers, who are then kicking back some of the spread. It's called payment for order flow, or just innocuously order flow. And you'll notice that these spreads are fairly tight. But now we come over here and see a company that has a very tight spread. And this is, I guess I shouldn't plug them, but it's ABC. It's funny, they compete with themselves. There's a Baja Mex, and that's this company right here. And then there's these ABC, and there's a bunch of others too, folks. But they're competing with themselves sometimes right across the street from one another. So here, these will give you a little less than these guys, 20.200 pesos, and they want a little bit more when you change your pesos back into dollars. These guys will give you a little bit more, 20.319, but they want more pesos when you change back to dollars. And this guy's about somewhere in between. And this is one of the better in terms of the client. And this is what you see when you're buying individual companies that are individual stocks that are bona fide, real companies, large cap, mid cap, small cap, as we talk about. Small cap, the spreads are going to be higher. Large cap, there's more competition, the bigger companies, so the spreads are going to be very tight. Now, what's going on here? Right across the street from these guys is a few stores right in line with one another that, my goodness, they're going to give us 20.899. Of course, they want 20.985 pesos when you buy dollars. Why are they so much more generous? Well, what you don't see here is no comisión. These Casas de Cambio on this side of the street charge a commission. Now, I didn't ask how much it was. I think I did many years ago. I think it was 3%. But you are not only getting hit with the spread, you're also paying commission. And that is perfectly allowable in the world of stocks and bonds and securities, as in the world of money exchange houses. just so they disclose that relationship, that yes, we are acting as dealers and there's a spread and we're also charging you a commission. So it turns out, I haven't done it in a long time, but I'm pretty sure you're doing a better job over here, and that's why these guys are so few and far between. Now let's cross the border. Now notice the numbers here: 20.224, 20.200, 20.319, 219. Because watch what happens when we cross into Tijuana. All of a sudden, you get fewer pesos for your dollars: 20.011, 20.001. But when you go to change back your dollars into pesos, you have to pay them fewer pesos to get your dollars back. I don't know why that is. I'm like 2 or 3 times, and I go there often. I taught there last semester. It is almost always fewer pesos you will get when you change your dollars in Tijuana. But if you want to change your pesos back into dollars, you should do it in Tijuana because you're going to get more dollars. Don't know why that is. Now notice, here these guys are only going to give you 19.90. But notice this one, 19.099. Ooh. You see what they're doing? They're hoping people don't realize that this is nowhere near as close to 20 as these other ones are. They're hoping that you're not understanding the power of the spread. And they're not the only ones. Notice they will say no commission, right? Well, yeah, we're not charging a commission, but look at that spread. Wait, it gets worse. And when you do visit Mexico, and there used to be a store in San Isidro that accepted pesos, but boy, did they give you a horrible exchange rate. I forget what it was, but it was pretty bad. They will take your dollars, sure. You know, these are 2 convenience stores. But they're not going to give you usually a very good rate. They don't, because they really don't want your dollars. I mean, they want your business. So, hey, you got dollars, we'll take them. But then they have to change them back into pesos to do their business. So, but I noticed that the gas stations will often give you a very good rate of exchange. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe because they do everything in dollars. I don't know. But the gas stations do give you a pretty good exchange rate. Okay, so we showed you an example of a bad spread. Folks, this happens in the stock market, but usually on the wrong side of the tracks, on the red light district, the bad side of town, the over-the-counter bulletin boards and pink sheets. Now they call them the OTC markets. Yeah, sure, they'll sell you the stock for 7 cents, but then when you want to sell it back to them, they'll only give you 5 cents. So the spread doesn't sound like much, 2 cents, but it's a huge percentage drop. So you've lost already just by buying this stuff, because when you go back to sell it back to them, oh my goodness. Now let's take a look at some of the even worse, even the really bad side of the tracks. If you'll notice, when you go to the airports, or if you're in tourist locations, the banks, the money exchange houses, and the tourist locations usually give you a pretty bad return, bad rate of change. Here in the Tijuana airport, they'll give you 19.089, similar to the one we saw in the previous pesos for your dollars. When you go to tourist locations, now this is Puerto Vallarta, just a few weeks ago, they were going to give you 18.4 pesos for your dollars. The Canadians just get raped. 12 pesos for a Canadian dollar. Canadian dollar is about 70 cents. So the Canadians really get hurt, and they've been complaining lately. And even the euro, which is more than the dollar, is not very good, and that's the British pound. So at the tourist locations and the airports, you know what? You're better off using your ATM card. Really, you really are better off using your ATM card. But then you got to worry about the ATM fees. Ay, ay, ay. And some of them are outrageous when you go to Mexico. $8, $9 of worth of ATM fees. But then there are a few There's a bank called Inbursa, Inbursa, and they only charge a little over $1. So I was really happy with them, and they'll give you the pesos. Now here's another company, Casa de Cambio. It's been in business for decades. It's right on the walkway between San Isidro when you cross the border into the downtown TJ. And they're giving a pretty good rate of exchange, 20.145, 20.280. But what you don't notice, unless you know what you're looking for, is something that's almost impossible to see unless we blew it up. And that's where it says, Cobramos comisión. You notice all the other ones said no commission, right? These guys are saying, yes, we do. We charge a commission. And again, it's perfectly legitimate if they disclose it. And so they are acting as a dealer and a broker, because brokers charge commissions, dealers make money on the spread. But notice that they're also, they'll buy and sell euros. But notice these guys were going to give you 19 pesos for the euro. They'll give you 15. Yeah, and then they went 22 pesos to buy a euro. Then here's the worst so far, 17.099. Yeah. And so they're just hoping that people are uninformed about how the dealers make money. But notice they say no commission. We don't charge a commission. But oh boy, do we hit you with that spread. And if you do use your ATM card in Mexico or wherever, be careful, because so the banks will say, oh, would you like to use our convenience rate of exchange? Always say no. Because it's much worse. Because when you use your ATM card, generally you're going to get a pretty good rate of exchange. You're going to have to pay the ATM fee. But if you use their convenience, I don't know why they call it that. If you want to use our convenience rate of exchange, you're going to get hit like these people. You're going to get hit pretty darn hard and get much fewer in this case pesos or whatever, wherever you happen to be. Cool. So hopefully this. And some of you obviously visit Mexico a lot or live down by the border. So now you understand. There's not just one price that the stock is. There's dozens of prices, and they're all competing for your business and making money off the spread. And maybe you're getting charged a commission. But more and more, it's all from the spread. Thank you so much for being in our class, folks. If you have any questions, you know how to contact. And of course, if you're looking for the best taquerias in Tijuana, that's the last semester when I taught the Principles of Money Management class at Sutties in Tijuana. It was a Southwestern Community College class, and the class was in English. But when we talked about taco shops, we spoke in Spanish. And I got some really great tips on some great places to eat. And of course, that's my that's my downfall. I loves to eat. Thank you so much for being in our class, dear students. We are so proud of you. You are rising investment gurus. You now understand the spread.